Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So Ryan Garcia's dad, Henry Garcia, has some interesting comments in regards to Bill Haney and Devin Haney and their approach here recently. Now, Jay, you are aware, and I know everybody else is aware of the actions of Bill Haney and Devin Haney here recently, specifically to Gervonta Davis. Now, Bill Haney and Devin Haney have been absolutely vocal in regards to making a fight next with Gervonta Davis. We hear that old slogan from Devin Haney. They say everything but let's fight. Bill Haney is going on every platform he can find, including his own, in terms of Instagram lives and so forth and so on. And he is disputing literally every word that any person says, whether it's Bob Arum, Leonard Ellerby. He is out there responding with both guns blazing. Now, Henry Garcia said that he believes that Devin Haney and Bill Haney are taking the incorrect approach in terms of negotiations with Gervonta Davis. Now, he said something to the effect that, you know, you're trying to make a fight with the fighter, but you're also getting the fighter upset, man. And that's not the way that you actually make a fight with a fighter or negotiate a fight with a fighter. So I guess I'm going to bifurcate this, Jay, because in my personal opinion, I think he's both right and wrong. I think.
Yeah.
So let's talk about making the fight versus promoting the fight. When I think about what Bill Haney is doing, he is doing an absolute incredible job in promoting the fight. He is doing everything he needs to do. You go after Gervonta Davis. You attack Gervonta Davis. You say everything up under the sun in regards to Gervonta Davis. Similarly, we said, at least I know I said, that I felt that Shakur Stevenson wasn't being aggressive enough in regards to trying to make a fight with Gervonta Davis. These are the things that you really should be saying. The stuff that Devin Haney is saying. The stuff that Bill Haney is saying. That's how you get under their skin. You call them out in terms of your desire to have the fight, promote the fight, so forth and so on. However, to actually, make and negotiate the fight, those are two different things, right? You want to build interest in the fight so that people are clamoring for the fight. You do it in the way that Bill Haney is doing it. But if you are serious about actually negotiating the fight and getting a signature on the contract, you go and you connect directly with the representation of the fighter. That's how you do it. So in my respect, or in my opinion, I feel that he's right. They're going about it the wrong way if they're trying to make a fight, and that includes Eddie Hearns. You're going about it the wrong way if you're actually trying to make a fight, which makes me believe that maybe they're not as sincere in actually trying to make the fight, because you know who the contacts are, you know who the representatives are. And instead of reaching out directly to a Leonard Ellerby, you're responding to everything he says on, Twitter, but are you actually calling them to make a fight? And so that's how I personally see it. Henry Garcia just believes that, they're upsetting the fighter and blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I'd be curious again to see when did the negotiations between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney start. But those are my thoughts on it, Jay. What's your thoughts on what Henry Garcia had to say in regards to negotiations tactics of the Haneys?
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, it does take both. It's good and bad. Instead of just going at the fighter, I'm going to the fighter's representation, unless the fighter is a Floyd Mayweather. That's a completely different, where he really talks a lot. He does a lot of stuff on his own. We see how Tank moves. So I'm going to his representation. I'm going to Al. Even Tank has even told him pretty much in so many words to talk to Al, So, I mean, that's why I'm going to go there and like, hey, Al, this is what we need to get done. What's your thoughts? Can you get Tank on board with accepting this fight with us? And go from there. And, I don't mind, building the fight. You're going to talk smack to the fighter and whatnot. But there's ways of going about it. And plus, also, you got to know your audience. You got to know your fighter. You got to know your opponent, how they move. You got to figure out what makes them tick and what's going to work for you. You don't want to cut your nose and spite your face. So with Tank, the way you move, you can follow the blueprint that pretty much Ryan did. Because Ryan was, being an antagonist towards him a lot, especially when he was on Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson platform last was it last year or the year before? I want to say last year, January. Whenever he beat Luke Campbell, and then he took the time off for his own mental health. But they're supposed to already be fighting that same time because that's how he pretty much built that fight. Also helped that Ryan had a huge following. Not saying he deserved to fight from a boxing standpoint, but from a following and monetary standpoint, that's how he got the fight. So Devin, after his big win against Regis, that's how they should have approached it. You know, Devin should have been the one going at Tank. Bill should have been the one going at Al. That's how it should have been done for me. That way it kills two birds with one stone. You don't have to worry about too much of it blowing up in your face. And to your point, it's very interesting to see when those negotiations started with Devin and Ryan. You know, did it just happen after the little, the blow up on Twitter with Tank and Devin, Tank and Bill and Tank and Eddie? Or was that already in the works? And then they're like, you know what? We may as well throw Tank's name out there as well to see if he bites. And then it just puts more eyeballs on it. So, I mean, love him or hate him, Bill's doing a phenomenal job at exposing and putting exposure for his son, Devin, and promoting. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's a promoter. I just think I agree with Henry as far as really if you really want to try to secure that fight with Tank, you go to his representation to try to get that done first. Because they can get in Tank's ear and be like, okay, Tank, this is what the deal we're going to do here. You're the fighter. We know you're the fighter, but we got you set up with a great deal here. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. We'll see if that fight even gets made, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, because Ryan's
Devin got a Mando.
Yeah, Devin got a Mando, but I think that's doable. I think my thing is who's going to be considered the A side. I believe Ryan feels that he's the A side. He's done way more pay-per-views. Devin is going to have to disclose the number of pay-per-views that he's actually done when he gets into negotiation with Ryan Garcia. So Devin may be the A side. Maybe he may be able to pull some of that based off of just like being the champion. Maybe Brian may consider.
Yeah, undisputed now.
Yeah. Now that may be it, but outside of that, no, I'm not even talking about being undisputed. I'm just talking about having a current title. But
yeah, that too. I mean, but Ryan's never been a champion.
Yeah, I get it. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But I disagree with Henry Garcia in terms of, if he's talking about just, promoting the fight. But, making the fight, 100%, man. That's not the way that you go about it. You actually want to talk a lot. You want to talk about how you whoop their ass and all this other stuff, and they're afraid and blah, 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 blah in the public eye, while behind closed doors, you're talking about, splits. How do we make the fight happen? Here's what we've done from a pay-per-view perspective, so forth and so on. So you guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to Henry Garcia and his comments on the Haneys. Are they taking the correct approach to make the fight? I'd be curious if you think so. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and we are out.